Hello, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Clint Zoka, and welcome to another My Thoughts On. Today, I'll be talking about the new Sony Pictures animated film, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, also associated with Marvel. Big shock. So this one is not about Peter Parker this time. This one's about Miles Morales, aka to some the Black Spider-Man, which is pretty racist, but yeah. Okay, so Miles is struggling with normal life, like going to a new school, making new friends, and especially trying to, get along with his dad, who is also a cop. Until one day he comes across a radioactive spider, and you guessed it, the spider bites him, he gets powers, he doesn't know how to control them, and then he gets help from Peter Parker, voiced by Jake Johnson. And it turns out there are other Spider-Men that are also in the same universe as Miles, like Gwen, voiced by Haley Steinfeld, Spider-Man Noir, voiced by Nicolas Cage, Spider-Ham, Penny Parker, yeah. And then there's this big threat, this villain named Kingpin, voiced by Liv Scripia. You may know him for voicing the Storm King from My Little Pony the movie and Spots from Isle of Dogs. He has a big plan to try and do something that might end up destroying the world. And it's up to all these Spider-Men to come together to stop this evil villain. That's what the plot is, basically, but when you watch it, it's actually a little more than that. Okay, so look, I like the Marvel Universe. I think the cinematic universe is pretty good, but I'm not the hugest fan of it. It's like Star Wars. I watch these films for pure entertainment, but. Excuse me. I don't watch these films just to say, oh, they're amazing, they are so good. I'm here to watch a movie. I'm not here to say the movie is good. That's it. With Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, this film has taken something that could have been cliched and just generic and turns it into something that's new, fresh, funny, and surprisingly emotional. The film is about Miles Morales, and you can relate to his situation. The fresh and new take is basically, fresh new take is basically from a different perspective. It's not the same old just cliches. It actually does it in a very comic book style, and I will get to that when we talk about the animation. But the way it's done, it feels like a different movie than something related to Spider-Man, even though it is. So, in a way, you could argue that it is somewhat original. Like, at times you don't really know where the film is going. And that's a good thing. You can make a movie unpredictable like that. Does it make the film original? Not really, but I say the plot's actually very, very, very fitting. The premise is quite original, and you can work off a lot of things. And the movie is surprisingly funny. Has some very clever comedy, especially from Spider-Ham. And Peter Parker is funny too, but we'll get onto that soon. What else? When it comes to Miles Morales and he struggles with his family, the emotions that are there are surprisingly real. They're not forced. You can feel for the kid about how hard it is he's trying to get through. You can relate to him a lot, and yeah, the action scenes are very creative and very, very fun. Probably one of the best action scenes I've seen in an animated film in a long time. And then you'll notice some Easter eggs here and there. I know this is based off the comic books of the adventures of like Miles Morales and all these other Spider-Men, but I mean this is the same with like Lego Batman and all that. if you don't know a lot about the superhero, then you don't need to read them in order to watch the movie. You can watch the film as like its own thing. And I went into this film expecting something amazing, and I expected it to just to be its own thing. And in a way, it kind of is. Even if I don't know that much about Spider-Man or Marvel in general, I still think it's kind of a movie that should stand on its own. Even though this idea has been done before, but the way this movie does it is so unique and so fresh that I would happily call it original. Say what you want, but that's the first thing that will pop into my head whenever I hear how good is the story and the premise. I'll probably say original for the most part. Animation. Wow. And I mean wow. I'm not going to lie, this is probably one of the best or greatest, and I quote, non-Disney animated films I've ever seen. What do I mean? I mean, this is one of the best looking animated films without including anything from Disney. I mean, this is in the style of a comic book. They have these giant texts like Crash Bang Boom and all these like different colors, and this is one of the best looking films and one of the most colourful films I've ever seen. The animators definitely had a lot of fun making this. All the characters have very great and unique designs. It's very energetic, and every little small detail in there, like Crash Bang Boom, and you see the little subtitle box, and when you hear Miles' thoughts, that's really fun. The action scenes are creative, and like I said before, fun, also very colourful as well. It's such a nice looking movie to look at. Surprisingly beautiful backgrounds, character animation that actually almost looks a bit like Disney. Actually, I can see Disney doing this, but since this is Sony Pictures Animation, and no. But if this wasn't in a comic book style, then I think this would have been just a normal looking animated film, I guess. The animation on Spider Ham is when I think the animators are hard at work, because whenever he's on screen and whenever he's moving, that's when I think genius from beginning to end. Spider-Man Noir is amazing. Penny Parker's animation is great. Spider-Gwen, Spider-Man, Miles Morales, you name it. I know Disney and Pixar and other studios are dominating the animation industry, but it's always good to give Sony a chance. You should look at this film and look at the trailer. It's absolutely groundbreaking, in my opinion, at least, anyways. But in a amazing way, because the animation is indeed amazing. Characters and acting. Our main character, Miles Morales, is, like I said before, relatable. He's also quite funny, quite likable, and you can definitely see where he's going, and I sympathise with the kid a lot. I can see a little bit of myself in him, just a little. He's probably my favourite character in the film. Big shock, because he is the main character. I like Gwen too. She's cute and funny and likable, and she plays a part in the movie too. I think her chemistry with Miles is also cute and slightly funny. I wanted to see a bit more of her, but there is. Okay, without giving anything away, they do. All the Spider-Men, the ones in the posters and all that, they all explain the backstory. They do it in the most funniest and creative way possible. They say, they're trying to start from the beginning, and they say, "Hi, my name is blah blah blah, and I got bitten by a radioactive spider, and then I do this and this and that." They do it visually in such a really good way, and the way they tell it is also quite funny. So, but I did want to see a little bit more out of her. Spider-Man, or Peter B. Parker, I didn't know that he had a middle name, but Again, I do not know that much about Spider-Man, so he's pretty much like the mentor for Morales. Think of him as he is the Sylvester Stallone to to Creed, if you will. It's pretty similar, I suppose. Not only is he funny and likable, kind of, but he's Spider Man. You can't help but just be enlightened by him. Granted, he does act a bit like a douche, but not by much, and I can easily forgive him for what he's going through and all that. But he still has a heart for MJ and his aunt, and they do briefly talk about Uncle Ben, but that's not far. That's not long. Okay, who else? We've got Spider-Man Noir, who is enjoyable. Penny Parker's a lot of fun and adorable. Spider-Ham, holy crap, he is my favourite character. He's funny, energetic, he has some of the funniest lines, and oh god, whenever he's on screen, that's why I thought the movie just got so much fun. I love him, I think he's my favourite character in the movie, and the animation on him is absolutely fantastic. Kingpin's the main villain of the film, and he's interesting, I suppose, but he's just a bad guy, and his goal, while sympathetic, I'll say that he's not a bad guy. In a way, I mean, he looks like a bad guy, pretty big, and he looks kind of terrifying as well. And he always has like a pen in his hand, and he keeps going because I always think that he's going to break the pen somehow. So in a way, he's an interesting villain, but there isn't a lot to him except his goal. I won't give it away, but it does actually make him a bit more sympathetic, I guess. I don't know. I kind of wanted more out of these Spider-Men. The only ones that have got the most screen time, is Miles Morales and Peter Parker. Gwen is inferred because she has a little bit more screen time, but about 30 minutes, I guess. Other characters like Jefferson Davies, who is the father of Miles, who's just the father. He has a good heart, and I do sympathise with him, even though I'm not a dad myself. I can see where he's coming from. I know he's trying to, open his heart to Miles. His mum, Rio, also is like Jefferson. They're both likable and relatable, and you can't hate them for trying to encourage Miles. Other characters like Green Goblin, Doc Ock, Doctor Octopus. There's two henchmen, Scorpion, and I don't remember the other one's name because, again, I don't know that much about Spider-Man. Are kind of there just to help Kingpin achieve his goal. They're more like henchmen to him, I suppose. Oh yeah, Aunt May's in the movie, and she actually has some really funny lines. Mary Jane's not in it for long. Yeah. I think all the characters are a lot of fun. Miles Morales has great development. Peter Parker too. A little bit with Gwen. But all of their chemistry between the 1, 2, 3, 4... The sixth Spider-Man is pretty much great. Especially with Miles and Gwen, which is probably my favourite characters. And the voice acting is very good as well. We got some big names. We got Jake Johnson, Haley Seinfeld. You got Levi Scribia. You got the guy from Moonlight. You've got John Maloney, who I believe worked on Big Mouth. Flicking Nicolas Cage as Noir. At least it's not Ghost Rider. I'll give her that. So, and they all put in great performances. My favourite will probably have to be the actor who played Miles, because I think he fits the character well. Jake Johnson's a really, really perfect choice for this Peter Parker, I think. Everyone else does a great job. with great characters, and most of them have great personality and development, along with great voice acting. You can believe that these characters are actually real. Look, I know there's Infinity War, Black Panther, Captain America, sorry, Captain America, the Winter Soldier, Iron Man, the Avengers. People say that they are the best Marvel films of all time, and for Ragnarok as well. I like all of them. I think they're lots of fun, apart from the Winter Soldier, because I haven't seen that. I think this, in my opinion, works. And yes, I am saying that as an excuse because it's an animated film. Look, whether it's animated or not, if it has Marvel in it, like Lego Batman, if it has DC or Marvel on it, then it counts. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is arguably the best Marvel film and perhaps best Spider-Man film of all time, with its great plot, real emotions, clever comedy, great action scenes, groundbreaking animation, great characters, some wonderful voice acting. Like, we got some great people here. A pretty impressive score, and even put in the song "Sunflower" by Post Malone and Sway Lee. That's a really good song. So, if you love Spider-Man, go see it. If you're a big fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you might like it. It's a bit different, and it is a nice, fresh take. And in that sense, I'll probably call it original, but if you don't agree with me, then I don't expect you to. If you like animated superhero films, then you'll like this one. In a way, it's kind of similar to The Incredibles, if you will. So, without any hesitation, I am happy to give Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 10 out of 10. No questions asked. So next, I'm going to do the 3 DC Cinematic Universe films. I've already done Justice League. I'm going to try and do Batman v Superman, Suicide Squad, and then Wonder Woman for the grand finale. Yeah. I don't think I'll do Man of Steel because I can't be bothered, and that movie is just kind of... it's something else. So yeah, if you've seen the movie, which I highly doubt since it is only an early preview, and it doesn't even come out until the 14th next week. But if you have seen it today or yesterday, which is the preview days, let me know in the comments below. I'm interested to see what you think of the movie. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe. And until next time, bye for now.